All right, part C is all about separation of variables. Before we get started, my daughter wants to say hi. Say hi, Lauren.
Hi.
It's like hand puppets. Ooh. Okay. So here is the differential equation. They want us to solve the differential equation. So chapter 7 is all about solving differential equations. It started with slope fields, which is the graphic representation of the solution. And then we ended at the end of that chapter with separating the variables. If we've got two variables here, we need to separate them apart and do two definite integrals. All right, so let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to divide y squared on both sides. I know I'm doing it, I'm just squeezing it in here in the problem because I want to make sure I have enough room in a minute. So the y's are on the left. And then a lot of times with these application problems with respect to time, right, these are all sort of exponential growth and decay type of problems. There will always be, or there frequently will be just a constant, and that constant stays with the t variable. So when I multiply both sides by dt, I will have a dt here on the right. That is the rule. The output goes on the left, y's and dy's. The input goes on the right, t's and dt's, or x's and dx's. Now we're going to go ahead and take the definite integral on both sides. So here a lot of people reapplied that this was a -2 so that we could use the power rule of antiderivatives. And when we add 1 and divide by that new exponent, we get -y to the -1st power. The antiderivative of the constant just is -0.02t plus c. Here's where I'm going to go ahead and solve for c, again using my initial value. So I'm going to rewrite this. So I rewrote the negative exponent back into a fraction to help me think about the c value. I'm going to plug in a 10 for y and a 0 for t. So all of that wipes out. C is -1/10. All right, now we're ready to start solving. So I'm going to go back over here. And plug in my -1/10. The first thing I'm going to do is multiply all of this by a -1, so it's all positive again. And now the only thing I need to do is take the reciprocal. So make sure when you take the reciprocal that you flip both sides. So the reciprocal here is going to be y, and the reciprocal here is 1 over all of this stuff. Now you can simplify these fractions also. There's more than one accepted function here, but almost all of you did your work exactly like this. So go back and check out chapter 7, separation of variables. This is a great way to earn a lot of partial credit. You earn credit for writing your definite integral, so don't forget your dy's and dt's. You earn credit for each separate antiderivative. You earn credit for adding a plus c. You earn credit for using the initial value, and then the very last point are these few steps right here for solving correctly. So check that out. Email me if you have questions.